something that I would highly recommend is recording your notes once you've condensed them and you've made an outline with them. And you'll learn about outlining in school. There's no correct formula for an outline. An outline is just a way of synthesizing material, making it concise, really trying to isolate the critical concepts. It's basically like taking tons of case briefs and just kind of melting them together and making sure you're getting the key take-homes from each of those cases and seeing how they weave together. A lot of times you'll have outlines, passed around from class to class. You might have upperclassmen that share outlines from past classes. Those can be helpful. Definitely look for those. But there is some value in outlining on yourself by yourself, and just getting used to the idea of trying to connect a bunch of dots that might appear disconnected. And so there's a learning value in the outlining process. And I found during my law school experience that you can take pretty much every course and get it down to short enough that if you record it, it could be less than an hour, which sounds crazy, but I think you can cover, 90%, 95% of what you might come up on a final in just about an hour of really concise audio outline. And so that was always my goal when I was going to law school. I would take my notes. Having been a TV reporter, you're used to taking things that are kind of long-winded, lengthy, and just dumbing them down and trying to get to the core. And so that served me well. It took me a ton of time, though, and even as a good student, there were a lot of inaccuracies in my audio outlines. I still ended up doing really well, and I actually didn't know about the audio outline inaccuracies until after I graduated and started working on commercializing audio outlines through Crushendo. But if you have the time and you are an auditory learner, there can be amazing freedom with audio outlines. They took a long time for me to make. I didn't worry about like how well I voiced it over. I just take my phone or record on my computer and I just read over my notes really quickly. And then I would listen, at the gym or hiking. My freshman year, my 1L. My 1L year, my first semester, I remember with torts, one day, the day before the exam, I just shot free throws the entire day while listening to my audio. Because I figured if it wasn't in my audio, there wasn't really a good chance that I have an opportunity to really get it into me that last day. And so I just stuck with my audio and I listened to it like 10 times while shooting hoops. And it was therapeutic for me, got my blood pumping. There's great evidence about how when we're physical, right, we get endorphins, we breathe, we pump our blood, more than just sitting on our rear ends. That can be beneficial for our brain processing speed, but also our memory and retention. And so I gleaned some benefits from that. One thing that my audio outlines kind of evolved over my law school experience. I got more toward recording smaller chunks at a time, and so I could listen to those on repeat. And if you're into education and pedagogy, chunking is a concept that comes up a lot. And so you don't eat the elephant all at once, you eat a nibble at a time. And so rather than just recording an hour and listening to that hour over and over and being an hour removed from the last time you heard the thing, maybe record in 5 to 7 minute chunks. And then in the space of 20 minutes, you've heard it 4 times. You might start feeling comfortable. Certainly by the 7th to the 10th time, you're feeling like, oh my gosh, like I got this. I know which words are even coming next. Like I've almost got it verbatim. And then you move on to the next. And so chunking audio that you record for yourself is a great idea. And then toward the end of my law school experience, and certainly while I was studying for the bar, I got the idea to do kind of a summary audio where I take the really, really critical stuff that seemed like highly testable because there's a lot of interwoven elements or a bunch of factors layered on top of each other or a bunch of exceptions to exceptions to exceptions, the really complicated stuff. I would isolate that and I'd record that in just like 5 to 10 minutes and have that be kind of my really, really important review that wouldn't spell everything out, but it'd get me so nothing would fall through the cracks. And so I'd listen to that primarily right before the exam.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.